Hey, welcome back. It's good to see you again. So I stopped exercising back in May, and not surprisingly, I gained some weight and got pretty soft. But today is my third day of exercising this week, so I think it's safe to say that I am back to exercising, and I feel pretty damn good about it. So today we are going to talk about my home gym and exercising at home. If you're thinking about building your own home gym, this is the episode for you. Because of the pandemic, a lot of people are exercising at home now. As a result, a lot of people are building gyms at home, which is apparent because a lot of the gym equipment is hard to come by now. I would really love to show you a beautiful gym with a ton of equipment. I can't do that. My gym is in the dark recesses of a basement and looks more like storage space than a workout area. And I know this may seem like I'm just trying to find new and creative ways of embarrassing myself, but I promise you, I think there's good to come out of this. And that is to show you a solution that may be more obtainable than somebody who spent at least $10,000 on a gym. What I've done is really something that pretty much anybody can do, and it's worked. You don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of money. Despite your circumstances, you could do a complete diverse workout at home with only a few items. Probably wondering why you should be taking fitness advice from me. I'm not a fitness trainer. This isn't my job. I am not ripped. I'm not bulging everywhere. But what I am is busy. I have a full-time job. I have a house. I have 2 kids. I have a lot of excuses not to exercise. But yet I do it every day. And I know as a result, I feel better and look better than I would if I did not. And despite your circumstances, there is something that you can do. Whether you're super busy or don't have any money, don't have any space, there's something you could do to look and feel better than you do now. So let's talk about the equipment. The first thing you're going to need is some weights. Even if you only have a pair of 2-pound weights and a pair of 5-pound weights, there's a lot you can do with that. But if you can afford it, I highly recommend getting a set of adjustable weights. They're compact. You can have a full set of dumbbells in a very tiny space. You couldn't find the weights I have. They're at least 25 years old, and even if you could find them, you'd probably want something better. If I was to buy adjustable weights today, I would get either the Bowflex 552s or the Power Blocks 5 to 50. Unfortunately, these items are hard to get nowadays because of COVID. Everybody's building a home gym. Everybody wants adjustable weights, but for good reasons. I mean, adjustable weights, they're the staple. If you're going to get anything for your home gym, that I would put as item number 1. The second thing I would get is a bench. And you don't need a nice bench. I certainly don't. I have a cheap bench from Walmart. It creaks a lot, but it gets the job done. If you have the money, you probably want to buy a nicer bench. But if you don't, a cheap bench works too. Now, if you could swing it, you also want a pull-up bar. And not just because pull-ups are a good exercise, but if you get a pull-up bar, you can attach a pulley to it. So the next item would also be a pulley. You could put a pulley on a pull-up bar and do anything that involves basically cable exercises, the pulling. Dumbbells allow you to do anything that's pushing, and cables allow you to do anything that's pulling. And once you have those things, there's so much you can do. Also with the pulley, you're going to want a couple tricep ropes and some handles. Now, if you have the money and cardio is a priority, you're also going to want to get an elliptical. At least that's what I would get. I think the ellipticals are so much better over treadmills. Treadmills take a beating, and you take a beating from running on them. They're not good for your knees, and it's not good for the equipment. They break easily. A nice elliptical is expensive. I actually spent, I think, like $1,700 for mine, but it's been worth it. I use that thing quite a lot, and it shows no sign of stopping. It's my number 1 pick for getting cardio in the winter when we're stuck inside. And yes, I hate to say it, winter's coming. Sucks so bad. In the summer, if I was to do cardio, I probably would do rollerblades and go out where it's nice and sunny and there's a change of scenery. But in the winter, I'm not a big winter person. I don't like the cold. If you're looking for guidance on exercising, Jeff Cavalier at Athlean-X is the guru. He's the man. The dude's a genius. Subscribe to Athlean-X. Almost everything I've learned from him. The best workout is the one you actually do. You should just experiment a lot in the beginning. Try different things. Try something new every day and see what works for you. By doing that, I found a workout that works really well for me, and that's what I'm going to talk about starting now. Day one, I stretch. I do GAIAM's AM and PM stretch, particularly the AM stretch. It's perfect. I tried other routines and I keep coming back to this one. I've been doing this routine since 2012. I almost have it memorized by this point. And because of that, I actually just go off of the audio files. I rip the audio from the DVD and I just listen to it because then I can do it from anywhere. Apparently it has a new cover now. At least it does on Amazon. I still have the original from 2002. I bought it the year it came out. That's what I do on day one, is stretching. On day two, I do cardio and core. For the cardio, I do 30 minutes on the elliptical at my target heart rate, and I usually do it while watching my iPad. The time goes by so much faster when I'm watching YouTube. For the core workout, I do Ashley Conrad's Clutch Life core workout. I've tried a lot of core workouts. I keep sounding like a damn commercial, and I'm trying not to, but I've done a lot of experimenting. Anyways, I've tried a lot of core workouts, and I found them to be either very difficult or very ineffective. And what I like about the Clutch Life core workout is that it is something that anybody can do, no matter what your level of fitness is. It's something that you're going to benefit from. The goal for this workout is just to do whatever's 100% for you. That may be flopping around on the floor like a fish. It may be showing Michael how it's done. But as long as you're doing 100%, you will see results. It's a fantastic core workout. Day three, I do chest. Now, my favorite chest exercise is the standing cable LC press. This is the one that you're really going to feel the next day. It's pretty simple. You use a cable, you start with your elbow back, and the goal is to get your elbow to touch your sternum, or at least get as close to it as you can. And then repeat, and then do as many sets as you can, and then flip to the other side. When I do reps, my goal is to do anywhere between 12 and 30 reps. If I can do 30, I increase the weight. If I can't do 12, then I know I'm using too much weight. The reason I like that range, especially that 20 to 30 range, is you want to have time to let the burn set in and to revel in it and to chase after it and keep that burn going as long as possible. If you use too heavy weights, you're going to get fatigued way before you hit that point, and you're just not going to get that burn. So 12 to 30 reps, that's what I recommend. And then I rest for 2 minutes in between. Now ideally, you really should stretch between sets. That's the best time to stretch. Your muscles are all, warmed up, and I'm going to admit it. I used to stretch between sets in the beginning. It does make a difference, but now I don't. Usually because I'm juggling between other priorities. And speaking of other priorities, there's one stupid piece of advice. I don't know if I'd even call this advice. This is just something I do. But I get interrupted a lot while I'm exercising. I have kids. Because of that, I actually use a die to keep track of whatever set I'm in. So when I'm on set 1, I have the 1 up. And when I'm on my second set, I put the 2 up. And then on my third set, I put the 3 up. And then when I get interrupted, I always know where I left off. After I do the cable presses, then I work the triceps out from different angles, because doing presses from different angles will work a different part of the pectorals. I used to do the incline chest press starting at 45 degrees. Now, just to save time, I start off at 30. So I do the incline chest press at 30 degrees. I do some level chest presses, and then I do the jackhammer pushdowns. And those 3 things allow me to attack the pecs at different angles. Another thing I want to mention is drinking water. I drink water between every set, because one of the best things about exercising, at least when you drink water a lot, is you get hydrated. So water is important. Day 4 is arms. I start off doing the super curls, which it's kind of a 4-part exercise. You hold the dumbbells up on one end, and then you lift them up at a 90 degrees. You turn them, you do a curl, and then you press the dumbbells up. It's a real good one for activating the biceps, and you're really going to feel it by the time you get done. After that, I do chin-ups. When I started exercising, I could not do one chin-up. And it's hard to get up to doing one if you can't do one. So how do you get better at something that you can't even begin to do? I've tried different ways of building up to doing it. I've tried using Olympic rings at different angles and resistance bands to assist me with it. But the thing that I found works really well is putting my foot up on a chair and then using one of my legs to assist me with the chin-ups. And that allows me to do a lot more reps than I would normally be able to do. And if you can't even do one, then this is a good way to build yourself up to doing chin-ups. There was a time I could do 9, but now I can only do 2, which is embarrassing. That's what happens when you stop exercising. Hey, this is Joe from the future. While editing, I realized that I forgot to mention that when you start doing chin-ups, you might have problems with just holding onto the bar and just hanging from a bar and might not have the grip strength built up yet. You could use chalk, which is really messy, or you could wear gloves, which is kind of stupid. I highly recommend using Pro Chalk. Pro Chalk is super grippy and it doesn't leave a mess. It's super awesome. After that, I do a metabolic incline curl. This is a 3-part exercise. I start off by doing incline curls, and then when I cannot do another rep, I sit up and do just regular curls. And I do those until I can't do another one, and then I lean forward and continue doing curls leaning forward. The idea is you basically start off doing something hard, and then when you can't do that anymore, you do something a little bit easier, and then when you can't do that anymore, then you do something even easier yet. And by the time you get done, your arms are going to be burning like hell. Editing Joe again. Also forgot to mention that after I do the metabolic incline curls, I then do the crossbody hammer curls to work the brachialis. And then after that, I do lying tricep extensions. Once again, I try to do a metabolic version of these, where I start off with the weights by my ears, and then I just straighten my arms, even though my arms are at an angle. You do as many sets as you can, and then when you can't do another one, you straighten your arms so they're straight up and down. And then you do that until you can't do it anymore. So you start off at an angle, which is harder, then you straighten up, which is easier, and that allows you to get that metabolic effect. Day 5, I stretch again. I do the same thing as day 1. If I have the time, I'll also do a core workout on this. The thing I found out about the core workout is that if you do it twice a week, it's actually pretty easy to do. If you do it once a week, it's absolute freaking murder. The entire core workout is 10 minutes long, and I find the last 2 minutes to actually be quite easy. It's that first 8 minutes. Don't enjoy it. It sucks. But it's only 8 minutes, and then it's done, and it works. So it's good to just do it and get it out of the way. On day 6, I do... Oh, I suppose you think that's funny, don't you? Actually, it is pretty funny. Day 6, I do back. I start off by doing assisted wide grip pull-ups. And by assisted, I mean having my foot up on a chair and using my legs to help me do a lot more reps than I could do if I was not using the chair. In this case, you want your back to do as much of the work as possible. The thing you should be trying to do while you're doing wide grip pull-ups is trying to stick your elbows in your back pockets. That's the motion you want to be thinking about, is getting your elbows back into your back pockets, and that's how you're going to work the back. After that, I do assisted neutral grip pull-ups. Once again, the assisted meaning I use a chair and my leg, one leg at a time. I switch from right to left to make it so I can do a lot more reps than I could without it. After that, I do a straight arm push down. The goal with this one is to not bend your elbow. If you do this one right, it really works the muscles in between your shoulder blades. And then after that, my favorite back exercise is the high pulley one arm row. If you only do one back exercise, this is the one to do. And then day 7, I do shoulders, starting with The side lateral raise. This is another one, just like everything else I do, something else I learned from Jeff Cavalier at Athlean-X. I start off with a kind of a heavier weight and use momentum to kind of swing the weight up and then just fight it on the way down. And I do that until I can't do that anymore. And then I switch to the other arm, do the same thing. Swing the weight up and then fight it on the way down. And then once my arms are pretty good and broken in, then I switch to a lighter weight and do both arms at the same time with proper form. And then after that, it is the metabolic drop set. I start off with a fixed arm front raise, and then I do that until I can't do anymore, and then I do high pulls until I can't anymore, and then I put one dumbbell down and do figure eights until I can't anymore, and then dumbbell press outs until I can no longer do a single one. And by the time you get done with these, your arms are just burning like hell. And then I do standing overhead presses, and then face pulls using 2 tricep ropes. So you could get that extra range, I guess. And then the cycle repeats. Then the next day is day 1, and I stretch. If it's summertime, I highly recommend doing rollerblades. I just love rollerblading. Some people like bicycles. I guess I like rollerblades. To me, it's just fun. I mean, ultimately, this is just what I do. If you get something out of it, great. But really, my ultimate advice is first subscribing to Athlean-X, because the man's a genius, and just experimenting. He uploads videos, I think, like every day. What I used to do is I used to start my workout by actually watching an Athlean-X video, and then taking something from that video and then incorporating it into my exercise. So every day I was trying one thing new. And I stopped doing that, and that was a mistake. That's a good way to introduce yourself to new exercises and to keep trying new things. And then find out what works best for you, because the best exercise routine is the one you actually do. I'm going to wrap this up with things that I've learned while doing this, and also some mistakes that I've made. The first thing I've learned is that you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. If you are thinking that you're going to exercise and lose weight and you don't make any changes to your diet, you're going to be disappointed. You need to fix your diet first. The next one is kind of a surprising one. You really should prioritize weight training over cardio. Cardio has some downsides, one of which is that when you do cardio, you only get that one-time benefit. You burn a bunch of calories and then that's it. And as a matter of fact, if you do too much cardio, it can actually hurt you in the end, because you can lose muscle, and muscle is what you want. Muscle is the thing that burns fat. The beauty of weight training is that you build muscle, and that's a benefit you reap 24/7. The more muscle you have, the more fat you burn. If you're looking to look good and to feel good, weight training should be the bigger percentage of your workout routine. Cardio is great. I mean, you should do some cardio, absolutely. Getting your heart at your target heart rate and keeping it there for an extended period of time has tons of benefits, absolutely. But if you're taking my advice, what I've learned is that you will get more of a benefit from weight training than cardio. The next thing is don't use weights that are too heavy. When in doubt, go with lighter weights. You can get jacked, ripped, swole, whatever it is that you're looking to do off of 5-pound weight if you want. You just need to do more reps. But if you use too heavy weights, one, you can hurt yourself, but also you get fatigued way too fast. You can't do enough reps, you can't get to that burn, you can't chase the burn. You're just going to kind of get fatigued and not really get a lot of benefit from it. So when in doubt, use lighter weights. Another thing I recommend is having a friend who also exercises. It gives you something to talk about. Being able to talk to somebody else about exercising has a lot of benefits. It keeps you motivated. When you reach a new milestone, a new achievement, or even when you just say, hey, I exercised today, it helps a lot to have somebody else to say that to. Otherwise, it's just kind of in your head. Being able to say to somebody else, hey, I did 5K on the rollerblades last night, or I exercised today, it's something you should be proud of, and it helps to be able to communicate that with somebody else. And it also makes you feel bad for quitting, because then when they come to you and they tell you about their exercise, then you'll feel bad if you quit, and that'll give you the motivation to keep doing it. Also, keep your motivation in mind. Whether you have to hang posters on the wall, or sayings or whatever it is, whatever your motivation for starting should always be close in your mind. You should constantly be reminding yourself why you started doing this. Another thing that helps is tracking your workouts on a calendar. This is one I do on a spreadsheet now, which is effective, but in the beginning I used to actually print out a calendar and then hang it on the wall and then cross the days off as I did them. And that actually worked out really well, and maybe I'll go back to that. It gives me that sense of accomplishment that I could look back and say, hey, you know, I'm on a streak. I've exercised for the last X number of days now. And that helps keep you motivated to do one more day. So things I haven't really succeeded at is having a nice gym. My workout area, it works for me. I mean, I kind of like being in the bowels of the basement, and it kind of gives me that engine room feel, but it's not pretty. And maybe if I had an exercise area that was more aesthetic and had like a nice stereo system. I used to play music when I exercised. House music, by the way, is the best exercise music. Maybe I'll do an episode just on house music. You also want to have variety in your workouts. Like I said, you know, watch Jeff Cavalier and Athlean-X every day. I'm going to keep plugging him because man's a genius. If you see something you like, try it out. And if you like it, work it into your routine. You always want to experiment. I stopped experimenting, and I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped exercising, is because right before I stopped, I was getting bored. And that's a bad sign. You don't want to be bored. Time management is going to be a challenge. You're always going to feel like you don't have enough time, but you do. Even if you just do 30 minutes a day or 40 minutes a day, that's great. That's fantastic. That deserves a pat on the back. It's a lot better to exercise a little bit than not at all. Quitting and getting no exercise is the worst thing you can do. It also kind of goes with what's in line with your goals. I'm certainly not going to be the one to tell you should spend your life in a gym, but there are benefits to exercising, and in order to get those benefits, you're going to have to be protective of your healthy routines, and exercising being one of those. If you do something and it benefits you, and life starts getting in the way of that, you need to stand up and defend those healthy habits. It's not easy, and it sucks, and sometimes your other priorities are going to get mad at you, but exercising is important, and you need to make it important. Otherwise, you're going to stop doing it. So anyways, that's all I have for today. If you found this enjoyable or useful, drop a like. I really hope to see you on the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself.